Happy stories are amazing to share, especially when they are about children. Something that really moves me is when children develop idiopathic arthritis, juvenile idiopathic arthritis, a young person's version of rheumatoid, because to get it at a very young age obviously sets them up for a lifetime of management of this condition. And it is treated quite often with the same sort of interventions pharmaceutically as the adult rheumatoid arthritis. Well, today, I am really, really excited to bring to this episode a mother and daughter combination who are superstars. They're based in Slovakia. And in 2016, Stanka's daughter, Ella, developed juvenile idiopathic arthritis. And today we are going to hear from her and her mum about the journey that they have been through. And I can assure you it is a very, very happy ending. So we are going to go through that now with Stanka, mum, and also Ella, daughter. But Ella's English is so-so. She's learning it at school. She's only 9 years old. And her mum is here to do most of the conversation with us. But Ella wanted to join because she is curious and wants to be part of this. After all, it is her story. So, Stanka, Ella, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for meeting us. Hello.
How are you, Ella?
Ako sa mas? I think she's fine.
She's fine, yeah.
A little bit embarrassed.
I understand. I've got a 8-year-old about to turn 9, and it's a little different when you're talking to big people over internet and so forth. So, Stanka, you've been through a lot. I mean, when parents approach me and they say they have a child with JIA, two things happen. First of all, I think, oh my heart goes out to them. And second of all, I think, so much work. Just so much work needs to go into this. It becomes all consuming. The family has to be completely almost orbiting around the health of the child. There's the medical appointments. And because the child's young, they might not want to eat certain foods that are as healthy as the other choices that the kids are having. They don't understand the connections. And so it's a huge challenge. How much has this consumed you since the diagnosis before we get into the details?
Okay. First of all, I lost maybe 15 kilograms. And I don't know if you can see it, but I'm really thin person, really high and really thin. So 15 kilograms, everybody kept asking me if I have cancer or something. It was really, really hard for me and difficult because my husband wasn't here very much. So I was alone with my parents. They were a big help for me. We were living with them. But for maybe 6 or 7 months, we were only in the house. Nowhere to go because Ella didn't want to go. It was her joints were hurting. Yeah, she was in pain and she was sad and no energy. So we were only sitting on the couch and she was sad. And it was really bad because I was doing some exercises with her joints and with her knees, and it was really painful, and she was crying and my heart was crying with her, but I can't cry because I have to keep strong as a mother. And the diet was not so bad because she was 3 years old and we were eating pretty good also before that. Vegetables and fruits and so on. Just the gluten and the milk were a problem because she was used to eat cheese. And she really, really loved cheese and, bread and these things and eggs. I was a vegan at the time, but she wasn't vegan. But she never eat meat. she didn't like to eat meat at the time. So the diet was not so problem. The problem was that she reacted to almost everything, really to almost everything. So our diet was very restricted, really.
So even before we started working together, even before you contacted us and let me know of the situation, she was already on a restricted diet because of food sensitivities.
Yes, we tried SCD diet and paleo, everything that you can imagine, because I was desperate and nothing helped. And then I Googled you, and this was the savior for us. This was the biggest help.
Now, so that people can get a glimpse of where we're going with her transformation, I didn't ask you right away, but let's just give us this sort of before and after status. Tell us in a really, really short clip how much she was affected, and then compare that to how she is today.
Yeah, so her energy was completely down. She was pale and she was really hot. She always cried, I wanted to take off my own skin. And she cried it. Yeah, she cried it all day long. And her affected joints were her right knee and her left ankle. They were swollen. So there was pain and there was the swelling. So this was her main problems.
How is she now? Like when she got up this morning, does she have morning stiffness? Does she have inflammation in that knee and ankle?
No, nothing like this. She's completely healthy.
Isn't it? What's it feel like to be able to say that?
Well, I am always a little bit afraid to say these words, because the fright stay in my heart. I'm always afraid that something will come back.
Yes,
So
and I think
I'm
that's
happy.
wise.
But
Yes, that's right. You're happy, and you're grounded in knowledge that it's a autoimmune condition, and that if we do the wrong things, we can trigger inflammation again. Okay, so is she playing sport? Is she eating more without the food sensitivities now? Is she expanding her diet? Has she got great friends? Is she saying positive things?
So this is a little bit complicated and long question. Okay, so she was doing ballet. She was a ballet dancer. What was really surprised because of her joints, but she has a great mobility, no problem with her joints. So she was a ballet dancer for 2 years, but now she's an artist. She's an artist from the birth. So now no sport, only running and playing with kids outside and making silly things, because she's a funny child. She's very, very funny and very good to be with. So no sports at all, but only running and doing arts. She can paint very well, and she has great friends in school and also here. Not too many, but a pair of good friends. And sometimes she's very sad, mainly because of the diet, because nobody understands why she's not eating chocolates and sweets and so on the birthday parties, and we always are taking our own food. So this is the main concern of her, that we are eating something other, and sometimes she cries and tell me, "Mommy, why are we eating like this? I want to be normal." So, but this can be expected. And what else? Did you have any other question?
And other than the frustration sometimes with the diet, and I can tell her that it's similar for us adults as well, eating a restricted way. You know, I was out just then and before this interview and took the kids, and sometimes I'll let the kids have some French fries, you know, when we're out. But you know, I'm looking at those things. I used to enjoy eating those things, you know, those fries look good. And I can apply with that adult kind of experience, and I can reflect on the direct impact that those sort of foods had on me. But as a child, you're relying on the trust of your mum or your dad to tell you, and you can't remember that connection. So it is difficult. And Ella, as you get bigger, you'll start to maybe I don't know, maybe start to get used to it a little bit more and miss the other foods a little bit less. But it will always be a challenge. Let's not make light of it. And this is where some people, you know, want to, like many adults, will walk into the rheumatologist and say, give me the very best drugs you possibly can. I don't care what the side effects are, because I love eating a Western diet. I just love ice cream or whatever. And so the three of us here in this little conversation, we are in a different boat where we're making choices to optimize our health so that we are, you know, able to control symptoms. And it has its challenges, doesn't it?
Yes. The funny thing is that she healed me. I was very sick. My gut was really, I had leaky gut. I didn't know about it, but my stomach was always hurting, and I was too skinny, and I was not well. I had allergies and asthma and something like this, everything you can imagine. And I started to eat like Ella, and I'm healthy now. So that's really great.
And so you were vegan, but you still had these issues. So you were eating some processed vegan foods.
I was eating really much processed foods in that time. Yeah. And I remember you asked if her diet is restricted like right now. No, she's eating pretty normal. We can eat in the restaurant where they use oil. No problem for her. We are eating vegan, but she tasted meat maybe 3 times because she really wanted to. And I was thinking that maybe it is good for her to try, and maybe she will tell me that, okay, I don't want it, and this is the case. She doesn't want to eat meat, so that's okay. But the effect was okay. Nothing happened. So she's eating pretty normal right now. Vegan, but pretty normal. I'm not cooking on oil at home, but sometimes when we are in restaurant, she's okay.
So I just want to remind our audience who might be maybe aren't seeing the monumental transformation that has happened with her and the degree of rarity of which this happens. I'm curious to hear what was recommended to her specifically by the rheumatologist when she first presented with this condition, and what the rheumatologist says now.
Okay, so the first thing was to use some anti-inflammatory drugs. And then if after a week it is not better, then to use, to inject corticosteroids to her joints under anesthesia, which was really frightening for me. And then if this do not help, so methotrexate. So this was the suggestion. I was not sure about this because he told us that it is maybe 40% chance that it will help. And it was not enough for me to put her under anesthesia and give her these drugs that really affect your whole body. So I was keeping to give him, it was a man, questions like, her gut is not healthy. Can this be the reason she's really her belly is always in pain from the birth? She's crying that her belly hurts. Can this be the reason? And he always said me, no, she has no celiac disease. Her gut is healthy. So in that time, I already knew very much about the gut health. And I knew that it can be the reason. So I told him that, sorry, can I have maybe 2-3 months to try something else, herbs and diet? And he said, no, if you do not want to give her this treatment that I suggested, go away and never come back. So this was our rheumatologist, and we tried another, but it was always the same.
So you haven't taken her to a rheumatologist in several years?
No, we are just going to our perfect pediatrician. That is just perfect. And she told us, okay, she's growing, she's gaining weight, she's healthy, her blood tests are completely perfect. So I don't know what to tell you. You are perfect, and she's healthy. So keep going. So we have this perfect pediatrician with us.
Good. Yes, some rheumatologists can be like that, and some can be like the one that I've had for 17 years, which has always been accommodating to my bizarre, requests of pausing this and testing this and everything. So, if you find the right one, then it can be much more smooth. That's not to go so far as to say that they understand the science between diet and inflammation. But look, we do our best with this show to share as much of that as we can, so that as patients, we know that it exists and we know what to do, and let the doctor do the great work that they can around the pharmaceuticals, the imaging, the blood work, all of the analytical work. So with that, I did mention at the top of the show, because you told me just before we started that she'd had a setback with COVID. Now, this is happening a lot to adults as well. We're seeing the COVID symptoms the COVID disease causing some symptoms to reignite with RA patients. What did you do when this happened? How long did it take for her to recover? And was it a complete recovery?
Okay, so her COVID started with Ella keeping saying, oh, my knee hurts. Mommy, my knee hurts. And she's telling me sometimes that her knee hurts, but it is only because her knee is not in a best position. After the swelling went down, her knee stayed in a not perfect position, and sometimes when she's running, it is affected. So sometimes it hurts, but she's doing some exercises for it, and she's getting better and better each day. So I thought maybe it is only this because she was playing with her friends. But no, it was COVID, and it hit her pretty hard. Fevers and a stomach. It really affected most her gut and stomach. It was really bad. She was vomiting, and maybe for a month she was not feeling good, and the food was trying to get back in her mouth when she was eating something. So this was really bad, and it stayed with her for a month. But the knee stopped hurting maybe after a week. And then we made a complete blood test with her pediatrician. She suggested it, and everything was completely perfect. She said she never have seen this perfect blood test in a child, but her ANA antibodies were high again, and they were low before COVID. So this is the only thing. And we had COVID again in December. so now it is high again. So I hope it will go down.
Yes, it's one additional variable that we all have to defend against, isn't it? So it'd be interesting to see whether or not those antibodies slowly drop back down again with time. And it's good that she's physically active. The research I've done on COVID, one of the impactful aspects of developing COVID is that it significantly increases oxidative stress. And oxidative stress is something that's really associated with RA symptoms. And so the solution for getting oxidative stress back under control is for healthy people to become more physically fit and active. The process of exercise creates a very, very micro oxidative load on the body, and the body then, through adaptation, develops more intracellular antioxidants, which are the ones that we need to combat oxidative stress. So as we become fitter and fitter, we can lower our oxidative stress, but it's a balance, because when you're lethargic and you've got maybe even long-term COVID symptoms, exercise, it's not something that's high on your priority list, but it is, in my view, one of the most powerful ways to get out of that situation. And we just need to do baby steps. As Dr. Clapper says, just walk to the next tree on each day, and we just want to take that and build and build and build and build and build to become fit again. So it's good that she's running and active, and hopefully we'll see those numbers come back down. Now, we have completely omitted talking about yet what she actually did. And if anyone's watching this and it's the first podcast of mine they've ever watched, they'll be like, why the heck haven't they told us what she actually did? Yeah,
right? Of course.
Right? And I apologize if this is your first time watching these episodes. In a way, it's my bad, because it's kind of assumed. We have a program that was evolved under the name the Paddison Program, and it's been put under an umbrella now called Rheumatoid Solutions System, because it's far more than a diet, but the diet's really important. Let's talk about what she ate, because it wasn't designed for children. You and I had this conversation back when she was first diagnosed. How did you modify it? What were the ups and downs, the challenges, particularly in case other parents with a child in the same position right now, and they want to know everything? Tell us, please.
Yeah, of course. I want to help anybody that needs it. Some parents here in Slovakia search my name, and I don't know where they know from that I have Ella and we came through this path, but they contacted me and I was able to help their children. We have 3 Slovakian children without medication, only with your program. Yeah.
So, my gosh.
Yeah. So it's really a pity that you don't have you doesn't have some book or something that we can translate to Slovak language, because I was so desperate to help these children, and it really worked. We were just speaking. So what Ella did eat? Ella was reacting to almost everything you had in your program. So it was really, really difficult. We were on quinoa, quinoa was the main dish for us. Then salads, only green leaves, beet. This was our main dish, and broccoli, zucchini, cucumber, carrots, spinach, and this was it. She could eat also apples and bananas and hemp seeds, but maybe nothing else. The first months we were only on this.
Wow.
Potatoes, sweet potatoes, tomatoes, amaranth, buckwheat, nothing. She really felt hot after it and want to take off her skin when she ate buckwheat, because it is really heating. So this was it. But we were drinking green smoothies every day, and I always try to give there a little bit of celery because she didn't really like it. But always apple, celery, cucumber every day. And I think this really helped her. And the pretty interesting thing was that I could give her this diet and everything, and it stopped being worse. From the day one of your program, no other joints were inflamed. That was pretty awesome, because till this day, everything was worse and worse and worse every day. So it stopped. But until one pretty wise lady told me, keep her happy, do anything to keep her happy. She was not doing completely better. So I started to keep her happy. We were going out, we were running, we were playing. We buy a little swimming pool that you give to your living room. It's from gum, and you give these balls to it, many balls, plastic balls. And she was playing with it, and she was so happy. I have one photo of her in these balls, plastic balls, colorful, and she was so happy. And then it started to go better. From day to day, her joints started to be better. And she was taking enzymes. I really saw the difference when she was taking enzymes before every big meal she had. Probiotics, but only lactobacillus, nothing else, because some probiotics made her worse. So only this, and that's it.
It's good that she was able to eat some of the hemp seeds to go along with the other foods that you mentioned, because there wasn't a lot of calories in there. And even quinoa is fairly calorie sparse. And so she would have had to eat quite a lot of foods. And great that she could eat the bananas. So there's a little bit of fat in bananas. There's a little bit of starch, enough energy coming through if you eat a lot of the quinoa. And then the hemp seeds provide a little bump as well. But, it's great that she could have the smoothies. But yeah, it's that would have been tough. And is this why also you lost quite a lot of weight at that time too? Because if you were only eating those foods too, as an adult, that's probably not meeting enough calorie requirement.
Yeah. Also, it was definitely the reason, but the main reason was the stress. I was so stressed. I didn't have any appetite. I want just her to be good and healthy, and I was too stressed.
I know. I remember, you and I have communicated over the years multiple times before you began, which I always tell JIA parents, this is not an out-of-the-box under 18 program. This is an over 18 program, because, of all the things we mentioned earlier about, just compliance, interest, understanding. It's so many different reasons why. And yeah, it always requires a modification approach. And interviews like this we've collected, because we've had some others over the years. A little boy called Cole. He's been a superstar over the years with him. There are some others as well. And so these collections we put together. And so when parents contact us, what I say to parents with a child with inflammation is, watch these interviews. Here is the adult version. Make sure they eat their calorie requirements each day, and make their plan more diverse and easier for the child based on the collection of knowledge of the interviews, the adult version, and those guidelines, and consult with your rheumatologist. So, because we don't want any people who are far less sort of, intelligent than yourself and your family, just thinking that people can live off those foods forever, or thinking that they can throw away their medications. It's not like that at all. A lot of really common sense care and medical observation needs to go into this. So that's important. And this is why, we put these interviews together, and I'm grateful for you to sharing so that others can learn.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when she started to get some pain reduction, did she then start to spend less time wanting to be on the couch? And with the happiness that you were adding to her life, did she then become more physically active? And how did that evolve?
Yes. With the pain reduction came some walks outside. We have really pretty park right here in our village. So she suddenly started to want to go out, and it was so nice for me after 6 months at home. So yes, it was a big change. She wanted some friends. She didn't have any at the time, no friends. So we were going around our village, and we were trying to find friends, and we were successful. So we we found friends, and then she was playing like a normal child, and we found such great friends that they understood what we are doing, and they always prepared for her some vegetables and fruits, and so that was so nice. Yes, it definitely changed. And she at that time she started to be a ballet dancer, so she started to be a ballet dancer even when she had one joint not perfect at that time. So yes.
And did the ballet aggravate the joint?
Yeah, the mobility was definitely better after that, but the joint stayed okay. It was not worse. It was not worse because of the ballet.
I think that's a really important point for people to hear. And I didn't know the answer before. I just guessed that would be the case, because generally adults are far more concerned about stirring up their joints, and they use that as a strong justification for doing maybe less exercise than what would be helpful. And what the science shows is that everyone benefits when they exercise more, and that it's crucial for joint health, because whilst the source of the problem is coming from the gut, the joints are being affected. We must target the joint health directly through movement.
Yeah, we were practicing with the joints, exercising with the joints every day, maybe 6 times a day. I was doing some exercises, and it really helped. It helped tremendously, really.
Yes. What else would you like to share from this experience that you feel would benefit others with a child with inflammatory arthritis?
Definitely one thing. It was difficult for us, and very difficult because our daddy didn't want to change his diet because of us. He was not able. He really eats much meat, and so it was difficult. And for Ella, this was a really big problem because I changed my diet, but she saw daddy eating something else. And she kept asking me why. So I really want to tell other parents, please change your diet because of your child. Maybe only for a few months, but do it for the child. Really, it is so important to the child will be more secure, and really she or he will know, okay, daddy and mommy are doing it with me, it will be fun. Okay, we are cooking and so on. So this is very important, I think. And don't be afraid, and don't forget about yourselves, because when I was stressed, Ella was stressed too. So do some meditation or anything, but try to stay calm and happy for your child, and don't be afraid to eat something else like others. That you are pretty normal. You are. I always keep saying that we eat like people are supposed to eat. We eat the right way, Ellie. Ellie, look, it is not the right way to eat like this. It is not healthy for anybody, really. So you are doing it for yourself and for your future. And she is intelligent, so it's okay in our family. But I can imagine that for another child, it can be pretty challenging. That when someone was used to eat chips and I don't know, hamburgers and hot dogs and something like this. So, okay, I can imagine. But keep telling the child that it is good for him, and it can prevent some illnesses in his or her future.
Yeah, it's very, very wise words, and it'll remain a challenge until eventually she kind of gets to the age where she can say, "I got this." Yep, Mum, I understand. And as she's old enough to look at some simpler scientific studies, I know that sounds like a long way away, but the evidence is there. You are 100% correct. A whole foods, plant-based diet is linked with longevity, reduced risk of all sorts of diseases, not just rheumatoid arthritis. It is a way that our body is configured to consume things that we put in our mouth. And the majority of folks are eating in a way that is more risk encouraging for disease. And so whilst a lot of people can get away with it, a lot of people can't. And when Ella, myself, our community of people with adult rheumatoid arthritis, when we get slack and eat like them, we feel worse. And so it is discipline versus regret, and right now you've got the discipline applied. Hopefully when she's old enough, she will self-discipline, and she will continue to live a tremendous, healthy and pain-free life. So that's the goal, right? That's what we want.
I hope so.
Yeah. So is there anything else you'd like to share? Because I wouldn't want to leave something that we didn't cover.
I'm thinking about it, but maybe only one thing. One lady, we went to some private clinic when the rheumatologist told us to go away, and they gave us peptides. It's something like stem cells that are helping your own cells to become healthy again. So they gave us something like this for her gut and for her immunity. And I think it really helps too. It was pretty fantastic to see when the joints, the swelling was away, that her joints was really stiff, and I really couldn't to exercise with them. They were stiff, and we gave her these stem cells for mobility for the joints. And after 3 days, she climbed the stairs alone. and she was running, and the joints were no more stiff. So I think this is really interesting, at least for me.
Totally. And I want to know a little bit more about it. So were the stem cells taken from her own blood, and were they in tell me what happened.
It is from rabbits, from the organs of a rabbit, because they told me that it is pretty the same as ours. I didn't know it. So it is from rabbit, and you can inject it, but in Slovakia it is forbidden to inject it to people, only to animals. So we were giving it only through the mouth. It's small liquids, something like this, and every day, and it helped. I could see that it is helping every day.
And was that something that went on for a long time?
No, she was taking it maybe 2 months for the gut, 2 months for the immunity, and 2 months for the joints. Nothing else.
Goodness, I've never heard of anything like this. This is something that is literally the first time I've ever heard of. So
it's perfect, really.
It's stem cell liquid treatment taken from rabbits that you consume orally for 2 months.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. Well, if anyone has questions about this, I do not have answers. Please don't contact me about this. I don't know what to say. Did you want to share a website with people if interested, to say which clinic you went to, or would you?
I can. The clinic isn't open. I think it is closed after these years. But the product is called Biopulse. And the company that is making it is from Slovakia, and it is called Vetchem. VET CHEM, Vetchem.
Yeah.
.sk. So
okay.
So this is I can write it for you, and maybe you can share it then in the discussion or something. So this Biopulse is really unique. I haven't found anything like this in Europe at all.
Right.
So I don't know, but maybe it was supposed for Ella.
Yeah, exactly. And so she hasn't taken that since. It's not something you've had to even consider for several years, correct?
No, yes, correct. Sometimes right now after COVID, I gave her the one for immunity for 2 weeks. And I had been healing my heart, because after COVID, I had inflamed heart. So they have also for heart. So it really healed my heart without any medication. It is really strong.
It was like a heartburn. Were you getting sort of from, like, is that what you had?
Sorry, I didn't understand.
You said your heart was inflamed?
Yeah, my heart.
Inflammation of the heart, not heartburn, like
no, heart. Yes.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, is that something we're getting off track a little bit, but is that something that you've had for a long time, or?
No. It was only after COVID.
Oh, right. Gotcha. COVID stirred that up. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I see. All right. Well, let's recap here. So Ella was diagnosed in 2016 with rheumatoid arthritis. She was suggested to take Nurofen, ibuprofen, and then to go on to get steroid injections into her joints, and then to go on methotrexate. Mum, Stanka, said, I want some time to think about it, saw some other rheumatologists who only insisted do that or don't come back. She followed the Paddison program with modifications because it's not designed for children, and she aimed to make it more diverse, and we had discussions around that, which anyone should do because it's not an out of the box for children. And then she also added lots of happiness strategies on top of that, as well as this funky mixture that's Slovakian based, of 3 different sort of immune and the gut and something else that you mentioned. And those mixtures, which were taken for 3 months, helped alongside also therapeutic movement of the joints. At first, just by hand. Mum was doing them by hand. And then later getting her outside walking, and then getting her into eventually ballet, which did not stir up the affected joints. And now she is running again, has no symptoms. She had one setback during COVID, but is now, apart from having the elevated A antibodies again, symptom-free, and blood tests look as good as the doctor's ever seen. So it's a pretty remarkable story. And thank you very much for coming on here and sharing. And I know that you're a tremendous mum, and you've contacted me over the years when, something not quite right, and, you're aiming always for perfection. So I just want to say congratulations to you, Mum, for all that you've done to get your daughter into this circumstance right now, because it is all in. There's no half-hearted effort when a child has JIA. It is all in, and I can't imagine anyone could have had more commitment to their daughter than what you have. So well done. You need a huge pat on the back.
Thank you, Clint, for saving my daughter's life, literally. Thank you for being there for me. It really meant so, and it really means so much for me. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And is Ella there for us just to say goodbye?
Ella ran away right now.
It's beautiful words to hear. She ran away, right?
Yeah,
not limping out the door, not lying on the couch, but she got up and she ran away. And that's all we could ask for.
Yeah.
Thank you, Stanka, and please thank Ella for me, and let's stay on. I want to once we hit end here, I just want to stay on with you to thank you once more privately. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.